Sorry, Sharon. You know, I've been bragging about how technological I'm not. I forgot to turn the microphone on for you for YouTube. I'm so sorry. Good morning, Sharon, Janet, and Tony from Glasgow, and Judith. It's lovely to have you with me. Rosemary, the YouTube link is in the comments and in our stories if you're on Facebook or Instagram. Oh, it is that her cellar is wonderful. The scarves are fantastic. Sorry, Sharon. Thank you for telling me there's no sound, because I'll be talking to you forever and not realising. So here I'm doing, I thought I'd do a bit of a Victorian townhouse, just to show you the different ways and different techniques you can use. And pen and ink is an old term, because basically it used to be a dip pen and a bottle of ink. But times have moved on. There are some artists that still use that method. I do occasionally, to be honest. But I tend to favour these, and these are the Unipin liner pens, and they're waterproof and fade proof, and it's a black pigment ink. But what's great, and this isn't even all of them, they come in a wide range of size ends, if you like, the nib width. So you've got a 0.5, you can see there. They've recently brought out a wider range, and I don't think I've got them all here. The finest they do, I haven't got, is a 0.03, but this is a 0.05, which is slightly thicker, but still a hair width. Hello, Rosemary. Tony, I understand the complicated relationship with dipping pens. We use them in the calligraphy classes here, and it's hit and miss sometimes. It all depends on the surface. So that's a 0.05 pen, and they now go up to a 1.2 mil in black, all in black, and they do a brush pen. But they've also bought out a 0.5, a 0.1, and a brush in a light grey, a dark grey, and a brown. So really, you've got a wonderful range of... Good morning, Sue from High Wycombe. Lovely. Thank you for joining us this morning. Oh, Rosie, Brighton Rosie. Lovely to have you join us this morning. And they are fantastic pens, aren't they? As long as you look after them right, they will last you for quite some time. They're one of our best sellers in the shop, because they're only under £3 per pen, which is not bad for permanent waterproof ink. So you can use them with watercolour washes. Either do the pen first and then the watercolour on top, or you can just do it in pen. I'm just having a swig of coffee, excuse me. Morning, Christine. I have seen your message this morning. I will respond when I've got chance. So just to reiterate, we're live on Facebook, YouTube and Instagram this morning, and I'm on my own in the shop, so should I get any customers, I will have to abandon you briefly to go down and serve. So I've got a very rough sketch of the building. Whether I'll get this done in 45 minutes, I have no idea. But I'll do what I can just to show you the different techniques. I often plump for a 0.5, if I'm honest. It's a good all-rounder bestseller kind of pen, and I've got to try and remember I've got 3 different cameras to try and get everything in on from all areas of my table. I actually can't move for wires and tables and stuff. Hi Daniela, good morning, welcome, thanks for joining. 45 minutes free demo, bit of pen work. So we've got, it is an old Victorian townhouse that I'm using today, but I just want to show you, this is Bristol board. Now what interesting fact that Jackie found out, Jackie, who you never see on camera, very rarely, we do try to get her on camera, but she's very shy. Bristol board is something different in many countries. So when I say I'm using Bristol board, what you may think of as Bristol board is not the same. Oh, from Italy, how lovely. I'm using the Daler Rowney Bristol board, And you can see here what's great about it is it shows you what you can use on it. So you can use pens and pencils, brushes, pens, nib pens like we're using, and airbrush. It's acid free. It's 250 GSM or 115 pounds. But what is really lovely about it, and it's great for calligraphy and storyboards and all sorts of things, is it's really thick but extremely smooth. And that smooth texture is really nice for pen work, but it's also lovely. Good morning, Jackie. Hello. The smooth texture, what that means is you don't get that spread. So the tighter the weave of the paper, the less fibre for the pen ink to spread and spider around the paper. So the smoother the surface. In a calligraphy class, we will often use marker paper or layout paper because that's really smooth and quite thin. Tony, I've not used the Strathmore Bristol paper. It's not a brand that we stock, although it is, the offices are in the West Midlands where I grew up. So we'll have to look at getting an account with them if we can. I would imagine so. If it feels smooth and it almost feels as if it should be shiny, then yes, it's that tight binding that's good. Bristol board, which is this, which again may be different from where you are, is thick, so you can use quite a bit of paint on there if you wanted to, or ink if you were doing illuminated manuscripts or anything like that, really. Do you know what, Russ? It can take quite a bit because of it being 250 GSM. It's like a lightweight watercolor paper in terms of the weight. It is. I mean, I don't know if you can hear that. It's quite thick, so it's almost business card thickness, I guess. Oh, Jules, I don't know why you've got no sound. It's good for, in terms of watercolour. Hello, Jules. Lovely to have you with me. Where it's good for watercolour, if you're doing highly detailed work, you could use it for botanical almost, I suppose. But a lot of calligraphers use it, cartoonists use it, illustrators use it because of the smoothness. It is really, really smooth. I mean, I don't know, can you? There's no... You can see the sheen from my lamp, actually. There is very little room for anything on there. So you could use it for watercolour, but bear in mind you won't be able to do watercolour-y textures like dry brush and stuff like that. How technical am I? So let's do a little bit of pen work. We'll do some different techniques. I'll show you the hedge at the front first, actually, because that's my own invention called a jerky squiggle for foliage, and I'll use the 0.5. And what I'm doing is I'm trying not to think too much, which comes quite easily for me, and I'm doing what I call a jerky squiggle. So a scribble is sort of swirly, isn't it? And I don't want to zigzag and I don't want to swirl, so I'm doing... Morning, Lisa from Spain. Thank you for joining us. That's really lovely. I'm blown away by how many of you from all over the world are with me in my little classroom this morning. Normally we've got lots of people in the room as well, but this morning, because it's a lovely day and it's also the start of Oxfordshire Art Weeks here, lots of people are off out enjoying other artists doing some work. So the jerky squiggle is basically a really cool way of getting foliage. So I'm trying to keep up with all of your comments from both YouTube, Instagram and Facebook. Who says you can't multitask? So these are permanent and waterproof. So this is the 0.5. So afterwards, if I wanted to and if I was pleased with it, I could do a watercolour wash over these, even though it's on Bristol board, so it will look far more illustrative Oh, Julie, is it not a lovely day in Cumbria? What's it like up north? We have we have a student that joins us online from quite a few lessons from Cockermouth. Is that too far from you? So can you see this jerky squiggle? It's almost like you're doing random signatures. You could actually do random signatures if you want, but it's a really good way of creating foliage because it's random. Horrible and raining. Oh, hello Jackie. The sun is shining in Banbury. It's gorgeous here this morning in the town centre. The little man with his guitar came past just before 11 o'clock where he sings, I don't know, usually The Whole World in His Hands or something like that, and the customers in the cafe like to join in with a kazoo and a tambourine. It all goes on here in the town centre on a Saturday morning. I've also got to keep my eye open for if I've got any customers, so I'll just bear in mind. It's beautiful, isn't it, this weather? Now I want it to sort of fade out as I go across. Now I could change pen, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break up the pen with a few more looser strokes. Can you see how that changes it? I'm going to go in a bit darker underneath this, but this is a privet hedge, I think, by the looks. I made a joke up about that when I... Hello Eve, good morning. Glasgow is overcast but remaining dry so far. Well, let's hope it stays like that for the bank holiday weekend. What was the joke I made up when I was 7? Did you hear about the boy who was taught under a bush? He received a privet education. I thought that was quite clever for when I was young. I still remember it now. No apologies made. So can you see that sort of... I know it's about buildings, but you're going to have bushes and trees in the buildings anyway, and I do like bushes and trees. Can you see how that's looking more foliage-like? These demos aren't meant to knock your socks off, but they are here to give you hints and tips to help progress your art. And there are lots of ways of doing things. This is just one way of working. So don't think, oh, that's not how I was taught. If you do it a different way and it gives you the effect that you want, that is wonderful. And just a reminder, oh, from India, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. So we've got people from Mexico, Canada, New Zealand, Spain, India. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do. It blows me away how you can all be bothered to watch a middle-aged ginger bloke who dresses like he's from the 1930s scribble on a bit of paper. Thank you so much. It does mean a lot to me and it makes it all worthwhile, so thank you. So can you see that sort of texture? And so I've not changed. Thank you, Jules. From Olney. Hello, Naomi. Thank you for joining me. So I've not changed the pen. I've just got closer together with the ink. So I'm almost filling it in to get the really darker areas, but then going much looser as we go across. Let me have another swig of coffee. How much I'll do in half an hour. Remember that joke, Tony. It'll drive everyone wild. Yes, absolutely. Oh, yes, lovely Rosemary. I'm here till 2. I'm not going to escape earlier. Oh, a reminder, next Saturday I am closed. I am not here. The shop is closed because I'm singing in Melton Mowbray at their 1940s weekend on the Saturday and Sunday. So the shop won't be here because I'll be up north just doing a few outlines for the roof. I'm not using a ruler. I am not anti-ruler, by the way. However, if I don't use a ruler and then I do use a ruler, it's extremely noticeable. So I try not to. I either use a ruler for all of it or use a ruler for none of it, because what I find is the non-ruled bits look extremely wonky in comparison to the ruled bits. But again, if you do it in a different way, that's okay. We don't do any gatekeeping or anything annoying here. We just enjoy encouraging people to pick up a brush or a pen or anything really. So with my outline drawing that I did, I haven't Rosie, you like no ruler? Good. Everyone's got a different preference really about rulers, and I will use a ruler from time to time, especially if you're slightly shaky. A ruler might be really helpful, but otherwise it's a good skill to try and learn. To have no oh gosh, there's 40 of you on Instagram. I feel bad for neglecting you for all these years. It's lovely to have you with me. But you see, the issue, and it's not an issue as such, but thank you, Purgil Pink, with these pens is you cannot vary the flow. It's just going to be black ink, which is why having a variation of the widths of pens makes a big difference. But the angle you hold the pen and the speed you use the pen will also make a big difference. It is a sketch and not a technical drawing, absolutely, April, and I like the freeness of it. I'm not an engineer or an architect, and I just like the aesthetic. So I could use the grey for this roof. I can show you how that works. So I'm just going to have the pen at a slight angle, and this will make a much sketchier, freer line. Now, as you said, April, this is a sketch, not a technical drawing. So I'm about indicating the aesthetic, not slavishly copying. I have got a reference in front of me because I don't trust myself. I've did this in an acrylic class before a few weeks ago, and it was such a lovely building. I think we did it in watercolour class as well. So I've got the pen at an angle rather than upright, because when it's upright it's going to give me more lines. I can faff around with that to my heart's content. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I was toying with the idea of how what size I should do this, but then I was thinking I've got half an hour, well 45 minutes, but with me waffling I get less time. But I do enjoy chatting to you all, you see. Let's try and get these window panes in. I would say, and I really would encourage you to work with permanent pen. It's very freeing-ish. It's scary because once you've put your pen on, that's it. So this technique is known as hatching, where I'm just using a variation of line width to give me this sort of idea of a window pane. So with hatching, it's a diagonal line. The closer the lines are together, the darker the line will be. The further apart the lines are, the lighter the line will be. Oh yeah, we do a water-based pen class. Oh, thank you, April, and thank you for your support. we do a water soluble pen class once a month on a Monday night. I use the Blue Acorn black liner pen, which is wonderful because the different variation of ink, if I put a higher concentration of ink, I get purple. If I do a lesser concentration of ink in an area, I get a green. It's fascinating. But they also do a range of coloured water soluble liner pens, which is really lovely to work with. So what I was going to say, because I keep forgetting, in terms of drawing, when you're working with pen, I don't draw too much, and that's because I'm impatient. I'll be honest, I am absolutely impatient, and I find if I'm going to draw it all out perfectly in pencil, so you can see here it's the same pen I'm using, but by varying the amount of ink, I'm creating a darker tone. So because I'm impatient, if I draw it all out perfectly, I'm going to have to draw it all out perfectly in pen again. Oh, the Blue Acorn pencils are brilliant. What's great about Blue Acorn is that they're a really affordable brand. I think they're British made. I'm pretty sure they are. But the pencils are fantastic. I was blown away. I did a class with Banbury Museum last year, and wow, it was just fantastic. I did sketch the picture. I've got all of my drawn lines here. Hello from Hampshire. Hi Jill. Hi Valerie from North Norfolk. Lovely to have you with me this morning. So I'm being very sketchy this morning. Now within this, you can see I'm sort of groping more for the window. I'm not after perfection this morning. I'm not going to get it. What is it Darlie said? Have no fear of perfection. You're never going to get there anyway. So I'm not going to worry. Now there are blinds in these houses, so I will do a few lines across. So this is live on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. If you're new to finding us, we'd love you to follow us or subscribe or whatever from whichever channel. We do a lot of videos. We do a video every day. I've been posting a video every day on arts techniques since June, but we've got on our YouTube channel we've got about 500 videos. Jules, you could probably join us online with our drawing classes if you can't get into town. I've got quite a few drawing classes on YouTube as well, I think. It's what I find about art is how therapeutic it is and how it takes you out of whatever it is you're going through at that time, which is just perfection. I mean, people take up art for so many different reasons, don't they? And all of them are valid. If it helps you, then that in itself is fine. If you're doing it to learn something new, perfect. I'm not judgmental in any sense for artwork. If people come just to escape chill with their own kids, that's fine. If they come to escape life and want to switch off for a couple of hours, that's also fine. As long as you're creating, that's all that matters. So I am being very sketchy here. purely because of the time. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for joining us, though. I'm here for another 15 minutes. I think on Instagram. Hi, Roger. Oh, good morning. Naomi's husband. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining this morning. I think on Instagram these lives get turned into reels, and the lives on Facebook and YouTube just stay as lives, I believe. Let's go across. The blinds, so you can see it's starting to take shape. You can hear the cafe's nice and busy downstairs. We had some ghost hunters in the building yesterday afternoon, and they wanted to come back soon to do an overnighter because they felt energy in the building, so that's quite exciting. It'll be something to think about. You can't really see the detail here. You can see how it's building up as a very loose sketch. Need to have that bit of guttering in. So currently it's all with a 0.5 pen and no ruler, but you can tell I'm not using the ruler. Oh, thank you. I try to make it look easy, but I'm also aware that if I make it look too easy, it gets a bit annoying, doesn't it? Because you try it and then it's sort of, well, why did he do it and I can't? But I have been working and teaching in the art world for 27 years. Obviously, I started when I was a child. But I'm just basically getting in all of the info because I'm aware of the time. But I do appreciate you all giving up some time on Saturday or whatever day it is where you are to come and watch me scribble about on a bit of paper. Do you know what? I wish we did have ghost learning to paint, but then how are they going to pay for the classes? You see, I'm not going to ever give them free tuition. Everyone else has to pay in our classes, so should the ghosts. I've got to try and think of a ghost art comment, maybe. I don't know. But I just want to quickly take the opportunity to say thank you all for your support on our little channel. We've seen support grow massively over the last few months on Instagram particularly. It does mean a huge amount. Because sometimes when you've been teaching for as long as I have, it can feel less rewarding in a way because you try so hard to reach people and you can't. But this way it enables me to reach all over the world. Broken line, Sylvia, is like this sort of bit here where I want it to fade away, like this roof here. I'm going to use the pen on its side a little and a broken line that gets wonkier and broken as I progress. So can you see that sort of makes it feel like there's something going on, but we don't really want to talk about it. It gives you a little sense of what's going on. Good morning from Trinidad. Oh, thank you, Serendipity. It's lovely to have you with me. Honestly, it's I know I say it a lot. I say a lot of things a lot because I don't shut up, do I? But it blows me away. It really does. How many of you are watching and supporting my little shop and classroom from wherever you are in the world. So thank you. Thank you so much. So I haven't put any shading on yet or any brickwork, and I'll probably go down once I've got this in. What time are we at? 1/2 past. It's going to be tight, but I want to do stuff. I want to show you stuff. Let's just get that dark in. But having the confidence to work in permanent pen is really quite special, because what it means, oh thank you Rachel, what it means is you can just take a pen and paper. You haven't got to worry. Morning Trish. Oh, Tony, Glasgow. Oh, whereabouts in Glasgow are you going to start teaching, or hopefully start teaching? I'll do my jerky squiggle again for this bush, and then you can see that fade away as well with broken line. So jerky squiggle is exactly that. The only way I can describe how to do a jerky squiggle is, you know, if you have a shiver like, that's kind of how you want to do it. I'm using 250 GSM Bristol board. Daniela, I don't know what will happen. I've never done an Instagram live this morning before. I attempted one yesterday, and I didn't know how to work it properly. But we're live on Facebook and YouTube as well. So if it doesn't save this video here on Instagram, it will be on our YouTube channel. We've got 535 videos on our YouTube channel. Some are full-length lessons. So you can see for the jerky squiggle, I can go in heavier and closer together for where I want it darker. And then I can do it in little clumps and patches. So you can see the different textures here for pen work. I've probably bitten off more than I can chew. I'll just quickly let you know again about the 1st of June. That there will be a demo, but it won't be from the classroom. It will be from Wardington Village Hall, from their summer fete. And I'll be doing that at 11 o'clock as normal. I'm going to be at the fete all day. The shop will be closed, and I'm going to be singing there and selling paintings and art supplies and judging things and all sorts of stuff. So it's going to be a lovely day. So if you're in the area, you can join me at Wardington Village Hall at 11 o'clock on the 1st of June. Let me have a look. Russ, pen and ink the same as line and wash? No, and I haven't mentioned it. There's so many words with pen. It's quite weird in a way. Pen and ink is basically the old school dip pen and Indian ink. Line and wash, the wash is watercolour wash, or water soluble pen and water. It gets very confusing because there's, you know, art has been around for a long time, and unfortunately lots of places have very different variations of words for the same technique. So it can be a little bit frustrating. So the way I word it, and again, don't come at me if it's not how you do it, pen and ink is just pen, dip pen and permanent ink, rather than doing anything else with it. Whereas line and wash, I would say, is either permanent pen and watercolour wash or water soluble pen and water. Hello Charlotte, hope you're feeling a bit better. It shouldn't. I have actually got a jar of water nearby, and I'm brave enough to test this theory out for you in a sec. So you can see we've got, you know, I mean, what's this, 35 minutes I've been on this. Um, and it's looking like something, isn't it? I don't know what, but it is. Yeah. But yeah, for the 1st of June, will I be able to? Because I'm not going to be in my normal spot here in the classroom with all my cameras and stuff. I am going to attempt to go live multi-stream, if that's what it's. I don't know what it's called. I'm old. I don't know what it's called. Um, multi-stream, something. I'm going to go with a 0.5. And now what I want to do, I want a bit of scrap paper, is if I line up the scrap paper, I am quick. I know. Do you know what it stems from, Rosemary? When I was a Dale Rowney demonstrator, we only had 45 minutes to do anything that we wanted. And unfortunately, you learn to be quick. So I've switched to a 0.5 pen. And what I'm doing is I'm using this bit of scrap paper to lean on to do a hatching. So it will give me a straight edge to work from. And this should... Oh, he's still full of cold. Oh, bless you. Hope you get better soon. We missed you last night. Although it was a tricky one, everybody struggled with it. We did waterfalls in oils, and we were using a palette knife and a fan brush. Now, if I move this away, there we go. Look, can you see I've got a nice edge of a line, and I can kind of do a broken line here to get that, because the light is on one side. I can sort of very lightly hatch. Let's move that out of the way. I've just headbutted the camera. I apologise if that was you. No malice was meant. I just have that many cameras. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, yeah, we've got the new timetable in the shop, but it's now also available as a PDF on the website. So if you head to our website, you'll be able to download your copy and give us an email to say where you want to book on. So a little bit of hatching will give it. It'll start to bring it all together. I think it's because I'm right-handed. I always tend to do my hatching from right to left, diagonally down. I don't know if that's a normal thing. Which way do you do? The classes are, well, what do we call it? Multi-streamed. I stream the classes live, and they're available in person. So you can join live, but we do have some lessons available on our sister site, artstreamclub.com, where the classes are recorded and they go straight on there. I haven't added any new ones on there for a while, purely for the fact it's not as popular as it was during the pandemic. So it just takes up a lot of my time. So this is all with the 0.5 pen. But no, we were blown away by how popular our classes were in lockdown. And we wanted to try and encourage more and more people how to do things. So we started recording the lessons and then selling the recordings on for, I think, something like £4, £5 for a 2-hour class, which is very good value. But our live online lessons you can join are £7. Hopefully you can kind of start to see how, because that's a dark side there. Dark side. Oh, good, Sylvia. Thank you. A bit of perspective here. I'm making this up and I might regret making it up. For some slabs. They're not alternated, aren't they? So we're heading towards the end of the demo. I wish I could spend all day with you, but unfortunately I'm not going to do that. A bit of cross hatching. So this is all 0.5, but I do want to do some brickwork before I go. I really hope you found this useful. It's been lovely to have so many of you with me. Well, you know, so many people did exactly that with lockdown, and I think it made people fall in love with being creative again. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing dotted line bricks and leaving a bit of a gap. And I should be looking... Oh dear. So a pointillism way works really well with stone and stuff. So pointillism is lots of dots together. I haven't really got any stone on here, but I could try and show you something in a second. I was slightly late starting, so I'll keep going for a little bit longer. And again, I do hope that this will stay on Instagram, but I don't know because it's the first time I've done it. But I'll be doing it again because I love you all. I think it's brilliant. You're such a lovely supportive community on Instagram. But you are on Facebook and YouTube, but because Instagram's new to me for going live. Can you see that just gives that impression of brickwork? Yes, it is. Pointillism just is the point of the pen doing lots of dots. And again, it's a bit like hatching. So I'll try and get through a few different pen techniques before I finish this morning. Trying to leave a gap for the mortar. But I just want to give... I'm being suggestive. So hatching, if I wanted to make this area, this side, darker, you all saw that I hatched going diagonally upwards that way. What I can do is if I want to darken it, I'm going to go diagonally the other way. Let's level that out, that's better. And cross hatching is basically multiple layers of hatching in different directions, always diagonal. You don't have to be diagonal, I suppose. Oh, that's brilliant, Tony. Congratulations on graduating. That's lovely. So hatching is, can you see how that's darkened and intensified that shadow? Oh, Naomi, I'm so inspirational. Well, you're so kind, thank you. You can come again. My whole aim in my whole life, actually, I've always wanted to be an art teacher ever since I was 5, and I'm very lucky that I've been able to do that as a job. And it's always just to make art accessible. I hate gatekeeping. There is absolutely no need for it. And do you know what? Maybe if I skim with the 0.5 across, it'll just tint the roof slightly differently. If you notice, I've got the pen at a slight slope to try and lessen the flow of ink. I just love teaching art. I really do. So can you see how that helps all these little bits? And I'm trying to manage all of the comments as best I can. Oh, I can show you a bit actually on the of pointillism, I guess. On the chimney, if I make these sort of stone rather than brick, if I do lots of dots, so the closer the dots are together, the darker it's going to look. So it's good for stone, it's good for rocks. Ah, Rosemary, thank you. Because basically what we want to do is just give that texture. So it's let's get on this side. So basically pointillism, if you've got a rock, pointillism, you've got darker tones, much darker tones down here, so that'll be your dark side, that's where the light can't reach, and then you can move them apart, so you've still got the texture. So can you see that difference there? It kind of, where are you on there? There we go. Trying to get you on all the cameras, it's tricky. It's just dotty, that's all it is. Let's do a couple more minutes, because you're all here. I don't like to disappoint, so I'm gonna just do a few more just to finish off a few bricks. Now it depends how you want to create this, if I'm honest. You might find that you want to just draw every brick. I wouldn't. If it's further away than this, I wouldn't draw every brick at all. Because nobody can see them that far away. So you can sort of do hints of bricks. So you could almost just do a few brick, so it looks like the mortars all together. I'm just checking, no other comments. Is there? No, nothing yet. Well, thank you all for being very nice to me. Obviously, I'm not. This is not as careful as I would be if this was a commission. But I just wanted to show you in under an hour what you can achieve with a little bit of pen. Well, thank you. Oh, you see that brick wall will fall down. I haven't put my bricks across. My dad was a builder as well. That's embarrassing. I forgot how bricks are laid. He would have told me off if he was still here, but he knew I never listened to him anyway. He used to try so hard to teach me how to do all this, but I was a teenager. Why would I listen, eh? So hopefully you can see how it's really built up in the last half an hour, and why it's kind of pointless to do a really intricate drawing first. I mean, if you find that the drawing is therapeutic, then do it by all means. I'm not saying don't, but if you're impatient like me, you're just going to be doing it twice, so don't bother. That's brick as well down here, isn't it? It's a bit dark, and this hedge is darker, so let's do a bit of hatching on that hedge. Maybe a bit darker down here where there's a bit of shadow. Oh, thank you so much for that. That's really kind of you. I do appreciate that. I don't do these things for compliments. I don't do these things for abuse either. Just in case you get the wrong idea, I just do it because I like teaching, and there's so much in art to pass on that I love it. Now, Charlotte, you asked, didn't you, what would happen if you wet it with these? I mean, it does say on here, look, waterproof, fade proof, pigment ink. Now, technically, depending on the surface. Oh, thank you, Tony. Thank you, Sharon. Basically, these pens, Lollipop Strawberry, are just permanent liner pens. That's all they are. But so on this, I could do. Do you know what? I'm going to do a few. Do you know what? Because you've been nice to me, I'll show you what it would look like with watercolour on, and that would kill two birds with one stone, won't it? That will show Charlotte what happens if you add water to it, and it will also show you what happens. So this is a building in pen and wash. Now let's mix up. I've got my watercolours here. Mix up. I've got a green, an ultramarine, and cad yellow mix. So I can put that on. The pen hasn't smudged yet. Let's go with a bit of lemon yellow up there. And it will also help you see what happens when you add colour. Now this is, let's see. Now you might all be going, oh, he's ruining it now. It's just a demo. It's okay. I'm using a large brush just for speed. This is yellow ochre and cadmium red. And because the ink is already on here and permanent, even the shaded areas are going to look shaded. Now, I hadn't really planned to do this, but do you know what? It's doing something. Oh, thank you. We have had oh, thank you, Rosie. Thank you, Sylvia. We've had Birdsong on since lockdown. This is just an ultramarine cadmium red mix for the slate. It's a slightly browner wall. Let's go with a bit of burnt sienna in there for this frontage. You see where it's repelling, that's not the paper, that's me. That's my greasy hands. Well, do you know what? That purple's quite nice for the shading of the windows, isn't it? So these Unipin pens are brilliant because they're affordable I mean, I could easily shade in exactly the same way with the pen, just to bring that in. I don't know. So hopefully that answers all your questions on can you use watercolour with them. And this, Russ, is pen and wash or line and wash. So we've answered everything all in one go in just under an hour. So thank you so much for your company. It's been lovely to spend some time with you today. As I say, next demo 11 o'clock on the 1st of June. I'm just reading that, sorry. Using pen for the first time in ordinary, smudge it with the side of my hand. They do. And the thing to do, thank you very much. You know when I was doing the shading and I used a piece of paper. Now, Rosemary, you can back me up because you're always telling me off that I never do it. Lean on another piece of paper when you're doing your pen, and that will stop it transferring on your hand. That's all it is. So don't worry. Now I've got to try and turn off all of these devices that I'm live on. So that's going to be fun in itself. But thank you so much for joining me today. It's been lovely to be able to be on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube all at the same time. So thank you so much. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend, whatever you're up to. If you're in the UK, enjoy today, the bank holiday weekend this weekend. And if you're local to here, it's Oxfordshire Art Weeks and it's the North Oxfordshire week this week. So the whole of North Oxfordshire will have loads of arty bits and exhibitions and artists that you can go and watch around. So head to the Arts Weeks, Oxfordshire Art Weeks website. So thank you so much. Take care, and I will see you all soon. Bye bye.